Hello everyone, and this video is all about my recent interview experiences. I've listed down a few things, whatever I've undergone so far. So let's explore them. So let's start with the process that I've undergone for ServiceNow recently, and the position was software quality engineer, and the level was IC2. So how I got here, and to be very honest, recently to whatever ServiceNow applications I have made, referrals and direct applications were not that useful. They conducted a 13th April drive online, and I participated in that. So I got a hacker rank test for this. The overall test duration was 90 minutes, and there were 3 DSA questions inside that. What was the level of questions? They were pretty good. And I've mentioned the level to be medium hard. Important topics to be seen here was DP and bit masking. And 2 questions, the second and the third one, revolved around DP plus bit masking. Whoever are very much thorough with the DSA concepts in these, right, they should be able to make it very easily. And going forward, however, the interview schedule. So within 1 week of the test, I got selected, and I got the interview scheduled the next week onwards. So however, one technical round was there, one HM. What was being asked to me inside the interviews? So obviously, since this was a testing position, so testing scenario based questions were given. Since the tech stack that revolved for the role was Java, so core Java based question was being asked to me. So there was a mismatch in my technical skills because my previous testing experiences, because I was a part of testing team of DShaw as a member technical, the majority of the testing was being carried out by a Python-based PyTest framework. Right now, the team, whatever I was getting interviewed for, they were Java-based. So core Java-based question was being asked to me, and again, the DSA-based problems. So both technical and the hiring managers round, they have asked me such related questions. Apart from that, they have given me questions related to that of what task I have done so far in my previous companies. Let that be startups, let that be DShaw, wherever I worked. So what were the important topics? So see, let that be developer based, let that be testing based. The most important topic for ServiceNow that I have explored so far is recursion plus backtracking. As well as dynamic programming. In the previous drive, they also conducted a drive previous September for SDE based roles. I went up to the hiring manager of that as well. Most important topics for preparing for those drives. Definitely that was also HackerRank based online test. And the most important topics for interviews was dynamic programming, recursion plus backtracking. I was rejected based on my previous experiences from the hiring manager round itself in the previous drive. But this time, since the role was more aligning, so I got selected. And what was the CTC they provided? So the base they provided was 19 LPA. The bonus was 10% of the overall base salary. And there were some RSUs. So if I just sum up, then overall salary was being provided to me for the IC2 role recently was around 30 LPA. So, okay, whether I'm joining ServiceNow or not, so that's under still. So I have majorly declined the role because I got another offer from a startup, and that was properly a developer-based role, a backend role. So I'm more inclined towards it. A few more interviews are coming forward, and after a few decisions, I would be joining a company based on what I'm getting as an offer. Okay, going forward, let's see some part of rejections wherever I got. So one of the major product-based companies was JPMC and Chase. Again, kind of investment banking. Again, the role here was experienced backend engineer and experienced software engineer to be very much more towards the title. Okay, fine. So I got a referral from one of my seniors, and OA link was sent to me. Again, that was a HackerRank based test. What was the question that evolved? So that was a ad hoc question plus binary search. So these are the topics. Overall 1 hour of test, I was able to finish that within 25 minutes. And the result was going forward, I didn't get any calls from here. So you can assume that there is a rejection from here. Apart from these 2 major companies, I got calls from startups. From what platforms I'm getting calls for startups? They are well-found, InstaHire and LinkedIn, obviously. Okay, so see for here, if corresponding to that of the seed stage and pre-seed stage startups, right? Whatever are hiring right now, they are more inclined towards that your tech stack, wherever you have worked, right, is majorly inclining towards them or not. Suppose that I have worked so far with Python Fast API. So if going forward, it's not aligning with the startup's tech stack Django, then I'm getting rejected. Majorly, I've seen that. Okay, very few considerations are coming into the picture. So how the overall assessments are taking place? So there are 2 kinds of assessments. One is DSA-based assessments. Majority of the startups, whomsoever is approaching me or is considering my role or considering my profile, So they are conducting their exams on the CoderByte platform. And the major topics that I have got so far from CoderByte is definitely ad hoc based problems, graphs, as well as the MCQ sections. These are all how CoderByte evaluates a candidate. So there are multiple kind of, based on the company, right? Multiple kind of sections inside your assessment can be there. What are they? So suppose that you are applying for a full stack engineer, they are going to be asking for design based questions, some React based, HTML, CSS based questions. Afterwards, the backend part, whatever you are going to be taking forward, suppose, and obviously your programming based MCQs are going to be there. Apart from these sections, some general sections also reside that, okay, about you. That's basically that how do you handle such certain scenarios and some sort of like that, right? Behavioral based as well as your past task based. What are the challenges you faced? These are some of the common questions, what I can correctly recall. That's what I have got, but that depends upon the company. If CoderByte is performing the test, then it can be completely based upon a programming based test, or it can have a multiple kind of sections. Okay. So, okay, as per my calls, whatever I've got, majority of the CoderByte test I've got for the programming purpose is Python-based programming language. Okay, is based on Python-based programming language, right? I have to definitely code out all my problems in Python only. Then only I would be able to submit that. Not multiple kind of options I'm getting, so such that I would be able to submit the problems in C++, Java, or something else. If the role is revolving around Python and Python-based tech stacks, definitely have to code in Python-based programming languages. That's it. Okay, going forward, what are the things that I have explored in the startup? So in the last rounds of the startup interviews, machine coding round is getting introduced. So yeah, wherever I got it, I was able to crack it. Moreover, yeah, another thing that I talked recently is some calls are based on assignment based, right? You are not getting any kind of assessments on a certain platform. Straightforward, what is happening? They are asking you to build an application. So my tech stack based Python based application, the startups are asking if I'm able to make them, if I'm able to submit them, right? And if they like the submission, then only I'm getting the call. Again, based on the interviews, even if I submit the applications, right? Based on the interviews, they do ask that whether you have worked on Django, whether you have worked on certain kind of frameworks. If you're not aligning straightforward, some sort of chances are there you're going to be rejected. These are the things that I've faced so far. And what are the companies I've given? So Waxwing AI, where I'm currently working as a freelancing role. So I got selected here after 3 rounds of interviews. Adnabu was a startup, again, CoderByte based exam I have given. So I declined it. I declined to give the interviews after clearing the OS. AO Wealth, so there was a straightforward interview. I got the AO Wealth based interview call from InstaHire basically, and I got rejected from here after 2 rounds of interview. So, okay, AO Wealth, let me talk about, they do ask questions straightforward on the basics of DSA. How do you delete from BST? And how do you solve basic? They do majorly ask based on approaches rather than they ask you to write the code. And operating system based threads, process, multiprocessing, all these things can be asked while your interviews, right? This is the experience that I have got corresponding to this interview. No, so I got rejected from here. Nothing particular specifically I've got in terms of a reason. Okay, in Flexion AI, I've given another interview. So what happened here? I got yes, I got the rejection based on basically that I don't have much front-end experiences. So I was not able to answer much of the front-end based questions into their online OA that they've sent me over CoderByte. Circuitry AI. So after attempting the OA, after giving the interview, I got rejected because at the end, majorly my skill set was not aligning with them that much. So these are some of the startups that I can compile so far. Okay. Okay. Some of the startups previous year as well I have attempted, and yeah, so based on the text, majorly the rejection that I have faced was that I am not experienced with Django to be specifically aligned towards the tech stack. These are completely my observations so far, whatever interviews I'm giving. And let us list that what are the most important topics so far that the startups are asking for the interview. Specifically, they are recursion plus backtracking, whatever I'm seeing. And going forward, that some ad hoc based, some sliding windows, some string based problems, they can be asked. And again, whatever technology you are more thorough with, right? For me, it is Python based testing and development frameworks both. So they expect you to be thorough with these languages. And afterwards, suppose that I can list down that how to write a particular function utilizing Lambda. These are the things that can be asked to you. So if you are attempting such interviews, then be thorough with the tech stack as well as basics of tech stack as well as the language that whatever you are utilizing. So these are some of the interview experiences so far that I have gone through. So if something comes up, I get more of the interview chances, I will keep on updating here. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks all.